What's going on, everyone? ODC here, and I'm back with another action figure review. It's Amazon exclusive Marvel Legends Wolverine box set. I just kind of want to make a really quick video, give my thoughts on it. I just recently got it, I want to say a few days ago, back on Monday. And I don't know, I still have mixed feelings. Now, I picked this up as a Cyber Monday deal. This box set was going for $80. Originally, it was retailed at for the Amazon exclusive. It was retailed at $120, I believe, and then after tax, it's like comes out to like $130 or something like that. I don't know. At $130, I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'll pass. I'll spend my money elsewhere wisely, because I kind of could figure out what was going on here. A lot of reuses across the board. Pretty much every single figure has some sort of reuse here. And we're kind of used to that with Hasbro, so like I shouldn't really be making that the point of emphasis here with why I was passing on it. But there were characters in here that I did want. I actually pretty much wanted everyone but the Wolverine figure. Starting off right away with Wolverine. This is a very, you really got to want this Wolverine, I'll tell you. You really have to. And I don't know, maybe I'll end up selling him. I haven't figured out what I'm going to quite do with this guy yet. He's on some old X-Men artwork. I'm not sure the issue, but I've seen it. I think I even own the damn thing, where he's kind of almost crucified on an X-Men cross on the cover. But anyway, I digress, because I'm not here for a history lesson with you guys. I'm here to hurry up and give you a quick overview. He's a shirtless Wolverine. All of the kind of, I guess, body hair that he has here, the chest hair, the arm hair, the hand hair, even the back hair, which is gross. It kind of looks like someone took pepper and pepper flakes and sprinkled pepper flakes all over him. I'm really not feeling it. It's not really the best that's ever been done, and we've seen better for Wolverine in the past. A shirtless Wolverine, I guess I guess they were trying to cost cut here and sprinkle the pepper a little bit too much over the shoulders, and they forgot the center. So he's very patchy. He's a patchy Wolverine. But he's shirtless Wolverine. I mean, what else do we really need to say here? I really think that the highlight of the figure, though, is actually the two head sculpts he does come with. I want to say the Screaming Face, which I'm never a fan of Screaming Face anything, because they just look terrible. But this one actually doesn't look too bad. And I've heard other people that have reviewed this, their distaste for this Screaming Head. I actually don't mind it. It's not the worst. I wish his fangs were a little bit more predominant, but it's definitely not the worst I've ever seen. Claw hands are, your typical Hasbro failboat claw hands. They still can't get this shit right. This one's not as bad, but this one is, this one looks like a holy train wreck. Wolverine's claws need to be straight, and I can't get these straight for the hell of me. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of these claw hands, so I'm just going to have him with his regular fist hands. And I'm actually glad he came with regular fist hands and not just like the lazy, just detach the claws and then you have gaping holes in your hand thing. Not a big fan of that at all. But I actually really do like this kind of battle damaged head, which I might actually use on one of my other Wolverine figures and use the Screaming Face over here. Sorry, Callisto, you'll have to take a dirt nap. I might use this head for this body. I kind of actually wish, now maybe this is a little funny, I kind of actually wish this had the same kind of scars and kind of bruised lip and battle damage on the Screaming Face as the kind of grimacing, squinchy-eyed face. So, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I kind of feel like if you got the battle-damaged body, you should have both heads be battle-damaged. I guess you could use this with another Wolverine because it's a little bit more clean. He's not beat up or anything like that. But I would have preferred both being battle damage. I think that would made more sense. Will you stand? Will you stand? Will you stand? Fuck you. Anyway, this Wolverine, like I said, everything is pretty much painted on him. All of the scars and slashes or whatever is pretty much painted on him, just like the chest hair and the back hair and the arm hair and the hand hair. So nothing too crazy here. The lower torso, same lower torso that we've seen before with brown and tan Wolverine. So nothing too crazy there. So that's Wolverine in a nutshell. Moving on to Callisto. Callisto, from the neck down, is punk rock Storm. So, I mean, that's pretty much what all you're getting. But the cool thing about actually getting a Callisto figure is that we might actually start getting some of the rest of the Morlocks, which would be nice. That would be cool. I think this body does actually work more for Callisto and her look. The head sculpt looks really good. I'm really feeling the blue paint shading going throughout the hair. It feels like she was pulled out of a comic. So I do like that. The eye slash over the eye patch. This is just a really good head sculpt for her. And like I said, I don't really mind this reuse too much because I think it does work for the character. I think a little differentiation maybe in the belt would have been nice, but it's not the end of the world. And I think Punk Rock Storm is a little bit more of a niche look anyway. Most people are going to have Storm on their shelf. It's going to be either the 70s giant size X-Men, or it's going to be the 90s X-Men. So either one, or 80s Storm, excuse me. So Punk Rock Storm, I don't think too many people will be brokenhearted about this reuse. Like I said, I think it actually does work better for her. She does come with extra hands, which you can pop off right here, and you can pop this hand on. And this is actually going to be my first time testing this. And let's just see if this is going to work. So nice tight grip for both of these knives. So she can hold them both. So that's not a non-issue there, which is good because, if it were me and I had money on the if the knives were actually going to fit in her hands bet, I would have probably bet that the hands were going to be too big for the knives, or the knives were going to be too small for the hands, one or the other. But they actually do fit, so I can't really complain too much about that. So I think she is actually a bright spot. She's, like I said, she's not going to be a must-get for everyone. She's probably more of a very niche pickup, but she is available, and at least they made her available here. Maybe we'll get more of the Morlocks. Who the heck knows? Maybe we'll get at least Leech. So then we could put Leech with our Future Foundation. That would be nice. I'd like to eventually get the Future Foundation Fantastic Four. That would be fantastic. But I like this figure, and I think it really does work, and she's definitely going to go on my shelf. Moving on to good old Mastermind here. Mastermind is definitely going to be on the shelf with the rest of the Hellfire Club. And yeah, I think I'm going to have him with this head sculpt. Now, this is the head sculpt that's used while he is, I think, manipulating someone's mind. And he likes to look a little bit more dapper. Ooh, I'm Mr. Brad Pitt with a beard, Motorhead beard. But you can pop this head off and pop the traditional looking head on. Now, while he has this head, this is his real look, how he actually looks when he's not. So it actually doesn't work with his body. You can still make it work. That's fine. I would maybe go for the Loki Target exclusive body. Maybe that could work because he does wear a brown suit. It's not going to be exact, but maybe it's something you could work with if you wanted to. But the head sculpt, for the most part, looks pretty damn good. Both head sculpts, but I mean, come on. Who's not going to have him? Who's going to have him with this head over this head? You know, I mean, come on. And if you get rid of the mustache, doesn't he kind of look like Morph a little bit? I mean, no, maybe he's too, ooh. But I don't know. Maybe it's just the hair. I just need a damn Morph figure. Can we just get this done already? For God's sake. Anyway, we got Age of Apocalypse Morph before 90s X-Men Morph. What the hell are we doing here? Anyway, moving on. I do like the head sculpt. I like this head sculpt, obviously, as I've alluded to. But the reused body from the Hellfire Club it just works. It does work. So I'm not going to beat them up too much for that. Essentially, the entire, from the neck down, is an entire reuse. It's just repainted red instead of, blue and green and gray and tan and all that fun stuff. So he's pretty much just like all black, a little bit of silver paint for the coat here, which is all one piece. This is a separate piece. And underneath this coat is just a collared shirt. This is all a reused sculpt as well. He's got the little buckles on his shoe, kind of like leprechaun shoes. Like, I want me gold. I want me gold. And it's right there for you. But I do like both new head sculpts, and you can, like I said, you do have options here. So you could use this with your traditional Hellfire Club if you do have that box set. And then you could, if you don't have the box set and you just want this head sculpt, probably outsource the head sculpt and then go for a more different look for Mastermind. So that's pretty much Mastermind in a nutshell. Nothing else he comes with, just an extra head. Moving on to Cyber. Now, Cyber is probably a big selling point for people. As a character, I want to say that's been on a lot of people's lists. Unfortunately, I really think they missed the mark with this. This is, I want to say, the biggest down note for, I got to say, the box set, besides Shirtless Wolverine. I want to say he's probably the biggest pass of the entire box set, and it's his box set. But Cyber, I mean, I remember Cyber. If you remember what Cyber looked like in the comics, I mean, for God's sake, here's Wolverine, and here's Cyber. I remember Cyber looking a little bit larger, almost like he should be on not this body. He should be like even thicker, like bigger. So, I don't know. I was thinking, I'm sitting here looking at my Marvel Legends shelf, and I'm like, whose body should he be put on? And I'm thinking, and I'm scratching my head, and I'm like, no, not Colossus's body. No, that's too small. Not Strong Guy. That's almost like comically too big in a comically way. And I don't mean comics like, oh yeah, it looks like the comics. I mean like, ha ha ha. No, that looks ridiculous. The Strong Guy body, I feel like, is meant for Strong Guy and nobody else, really. So I'm sitting here thinking to myself, and I'm like, who could it be? Who could it be? So I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, shouldn't he be more on like the Titus body, the Titus Build-A-Figure body? And I think that would have made a lot more sense because Titus was a little bit more wider. He even had like the kind of like the cyborg-esque machine arms that started on the shoulders. And I feel like that's something that they could have retooled and went with here, as opposed to this body, which looks a little bit, and he's not really all that slender, but for Cyber, I don't know, just the artwork. I remember the arms like being shown off, actually more often, like it's more of like almost like a cutoff shirt he had, where his arms would kind of, you would see his chest was also made of the same type of metal that he uses. And I believe the You know, this comes off a little bit cheap. I'm just being honest with you. I have to be honest with what I think about. These arms are just reused from Colossus, I believe. I know definitely the arms are. The hands might actually be a new sculpt, but I know for sure that these are the Colossus arms. And that kind of throws the hands off a little bit. I don't know, it just something's a little off here. And it's like they didn't even give him the needle fingers, like they just gave him the regular like metal claw hands. And they're not very like pointy like they should be. They should be a little bit like longer and ridiculous. It's like if you're going to come out with a cyber figure and it's going to be your first one, maybe knock it out of the park and sell the 5-pack, because this is supposed to be the selling point right here, cyber. It's supposed to make you want to get it. But this doesn't really make me want to spend money, a large amount of money, like over $100 to get the 5-pack just to get him. It just doesn't make sense. And even if you are to get the 5-pack and sell off the others and just keep him, still, the paint shading is meh at best. He does kind of have this like metallic blue, which I do like. It does help kind of accent the metal arms here. But still, the kind of blotchy paint shading going throughout the chest and the head, I don't know, there's like a big circle on his head. There's stuff about him that's just he just comes off very cheaply made. And there's even some wear and tear on my shoulders, as you can see up top right there. And here, just from moving his arm up, it's kind of rubbing on this, I guess, lat piece right here, the lat sculpt of him. And I'm just not really all that impressed with this guy. I don't know, I guess he's a piece that can sit on your shelf for now. But I guess I was just expecting more for Cyber. He's Cyber for now until I guess they come out with a better one. But this guy could have been a big hulking Build-A-Figure. And they could have made him a little bit more large and imposing as opposed to he looks like just another guy. I don't know. The head sculpt I don't have too much of an issue with. I don't mind the head sculpt. It looks a little pinched up top right here, which, you know, he had a little bit of a wider, more muscular head. He kind of looks like one of those gym rat meatheads, those guys that do keg stands and you know, I got to do more steroids. You know, an 80s wrestler, you know, like just jacked up on cocaine and steroids. You know, that's Cyber, what he looked like to me. He's got these like needle hands that come out, or needle fingers. It's just, you know, creepy, and he doesn't look he doesn't look all that imposing and creepy. He is larger. Like I said, this is your typical 6-inch figure right here in Mastermind. So he is larger. Here's a Star Wars Black Series figure right there. He is larger. So, I mean, it's not the worst thing ever, but it's just like he's missing something. He's got your typical articulation. I'm going to go through articulation with him as opposed to the others because we already know the other three, their articulation points. I've done them already. So the head can look up. The head can look down. So really good range of motion in the head. So, and he'll pose well. Not a lot of tilt, just a little bit, just a little. He does have some job turkeys up in here. His head can swivel a full 360 rotation if you needed to. Arms go up about that far, but do be careful of damaging some of the sculpt on the metal arms. And they're not real metal. I'm just saying they look like metal. That's the sculpt. Arms can do a full 360 if you need it to. He does have a bicep swivel, which is very kind of, I don't know, I guess you can do a full 360 with it. A single bend at the elbow, which, you know, still, I mean, come on. What are we doing here? Why are we doing single bends here? This is unnecessary. I know they're reused Colossus arms, and Colossus arms had single joints, but come on! Just retool some new arms for him, for God's sake. Swivel at the wrist. He does have a hinge joint, which does go up and down. He does have an ab crunch, which goes forward and does go back a little bit. That's neutral, so a little bit back, which isn't too bad. Waist swivel. He does have T-jointed hips, which go out. Legs go forward. Leg goes back a little bit. Just a little. And then thigh swivel. He does have double-jointed knees, which are, okay. He can point the toe, and my hinge on him is super tight. Superstar. Sorry. Couldn't help it. Rated R superstar. They can kick the heel out. Let's see if I can pointy toey. And ankle pivot and 2 peg holes at the bottom of his feet. Right there. Ka-cha, ka-cha. Bringing on the main eventer. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, it's just Omega Red again. No, I'm telling you. This is, I think, the shining star of the box set. Now, I was already in love with the first Omega Red, and I'm going to bring him in here just for a comparison, just because I think it's worthwhile to actually compare the two. Okay, so now, there's nothing really wrong with this one. I just tend to nitpick the shit out of certain things, like his Omega symbol right here is not painted. That kind of bothers me a little bit. I actually don't mind the darker red now that I'm looking at it next to the lighter red. I don't mind the darker red, and there's certain aspects I could take from this one and add to that one and get the ultimate version of him. I don't mind that he's got like this silver, he's almost got like a gunmetal gray going throughout, and I think it does accent the darker red quite well. The other issue I have, I actually do like, is the Omega symbol on each fist. Now that's nice. He doesn't have the Omega symbol here, which is perfectly fine. There's been other artist renderings where he does not have the Omega symbols on here. But the main one for me, I guess, was that non-painted one, which you could go in and paint it. I want to say that the head sculpts across the board are pretty even. There's a little bit more paint shading going throughout here, and it's actually a little bit of white paint shading going throughout the hair, which actually does quite brighten up the blonde in here, and it actually in some ways darkens it, which I know it doesn't sound like it makes sense, but it does. Where this head sculpt and the other one, so this is your typical one, same one that he's got here, you can see that the blonde is much more of a more vibrant blonde than this one, which is a little bit more muted. I don't know. I mean, I think either one is a really solid figure, but if I have to pick one, I can't help but this vibrant, more a little bit of a lighter red. It just brings out some of the tones. It even brings out the texture on his shoulder armor right there. And this is what I think of. This was the old Toy Biz X-Men series feel for me as far as that figure goes. And I had that Omega Red. So this is what I think of right here, this guy on the left, as opposed to this guy on the right, which he's a little bit more muted in certain ways. He does have some gunmetal accents right here. So these actually kind of match right here as far as the tones. And also his little capsules right here on his chest piece and his rig are actually a gunmetal gray. So he does have some differentiation in the throughout the body. And I really like that they gave him an actual screaming head too. So that's really cool. The eyes are a little bit different, and I actually think a little bit of this kind of, I guess, eyeshadow, if you want to call it that, or just black eyeliner, whatever you want to call it, gives him that kind of ballistic, crazy, I don't know, I want to rip your head off your shoulders look. Like he hasn't slept in a week because he's been hunting you down and wants to kill you. That's the feel that I get from him. So this is going to be the go-to one, and this one will go to a happier home, which is fine. Also, the differences between the, I guess you call these not tendrils and not really tentacles. I guess you can call them tentacles. They're called something else specifically. I can't remember, but these are white and these are gunmetal gray. And that's really the only difference between the two. And same thing with the longer ones that are kind of coiled up and wrapped up. These are all just more of a bright white, where the other ones were a kind of a gunmetal one. Okay. So that's pretty much it. Everything fits into the same places. It's pretty much the exact same figure, just a redeco. And I think either one that you go for is a solid choice. But for me personally, this was actually a selling point for me. I actually really wanted this version of Omega Red. It just reminds me of the 90s comics, and I can't help that. So, and the alternate head with the screaming face. I think that's a really nice touch. So, and the painted Omega symbol on there. So, this was actually the selling point. The damn re-release, repaint, was the selling point for me. If you can believe that. Can you believe that? I don't know. A lot of people will be like, oh no, it's got to be Cyber, right? Nope. Absolutely not. So, I don't know if you could find this box set, and I'm going to get Omega Red out of here. If you can find this box set for a decent price, around that $80 price point, or even $85, I would say pull the trigger, go for it. I really would not spend north of $100 on this box set. It just simply really is not worth it. And a lot of people were getting kind of scared that this box set was going to sell out. And it actually did sell out for a few days, and people were getting worried. And I was like, guys, wait, Cyber Monday's right around the corner. What are you flipping out about? It's not even that good of a box set to begin with. There's no flipping out that needs to be warranted about this box set to begin with, because it's not that great. So just everybody simmer down, wait for the deals to come. There's still Christmas around the corner. And I would say if you're trying to finish some of your villains and trying to add more of established ranks to some of your villains and stuff like that, this is a decent box set for that, where the majority of them are villains and it's just a shirtless Wolverine. If you can get the box set and you just want Cyber or you just want Omega Red and you don't care about the other three, sell them off and get your money back, recoup your investment. Especially if you only spent $80. You could sell the others for at least $20 to $25, depending. So, I don't know. Personally, as I bang my table, I'm probably going to get rid of him, and the rest I'm probably going to keep. So, I got my go-to Omega Red now. He'll just hold the... Oops, sorry. I'm knocking people over. He'll just hold the fort until they make a better Cyber, if they make a better Cyber at all. Mastermind's definitely going to go with the rest of the Hellfire Club that I have, and that will complete my Hellfire Club. And Callisto, maybe we'll get more of the Morlocks. Hopefully that would be nice. Other than that, I would say pass on this. This is a passable box set. Yeah. I'd say Omega Red is great, though. I really do like this Omega Red quite a bit. So, other than that, I'd say pass on it. That's pretty much it for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you for watching, as always, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.